You get the point. Katamari Damacy. Let's talk about that game a bit. If you don't know what Katamari Damacy is, pay attention. You're about to learn some shit. This is going to be my review of Katamari Damacy, and I'm kind of starting this kind of series because I just want to, tell people who wouldn't know about these games. You know what I mean? Mega 64 did a great video on Katamari Damacy, parodying it. Fucking kill me. Parodying. I can't say the word right now. Parodying. Yeah, right? Parodying. Fuck it. Spoofing. Fuck me. Spoofing the game. But let me just go into my little review of it. And this is a little more of a serious review because I do really appreciate this game. I love it a lot. And I finished it a couple of days ago, and I don't have any nostalgia clouding my view of it because I didn't play it as a kid. So here we go. Well, Katamari Damacy is the kind of game that one would expect to come from Japan, if you know what I mean. I mean, the music, the art style, and the dialogue are all just very eccentric in that kind of Japanese way. If you know it, you usually just, you could put a Japanese program on silent and have just all the people wearing masks, and you could still tell that it was a Japanese, show, if you know what I mean. They're pretty creative. They're a bit crazy. And it's really no wonder that this title is so fondly remembered as one of the titles that really stuck out for the PlayStation 2. The concept is absurd. The story, it basically involves an intergalactic dynasty set with the task of rebuilding the stars in the sky out of common Earth-dwelling items because they've disappeared. And you play as the prince. You're kind of the lackey, to be quite honest, for it. They're like, dearest prince, go do our work for us. We're busy. If I had to really personify this game, and I might regret this analogy, I don't know if the analogy is just, who cares, would be that it's kind of the Japanese embodiment of that girl in middle school who went, rawr, XD, except without the cancer and without wanting to drop kick that person in the face. With the game being so mechanically simple control-wise, one would expect that this game would really just grow stale after many hours of gameplay, but that's just not the case. It seems that this game is just inherently fun. There's almost just an inherent appeal in rolling things up and progressively getting bigger and larger. I don't even know if that's like primitive, but it feels nice. Kind of feels like you're accomplishing something when you don't do anything and you don't have a life and you just sit around playing Katamari Damacy. It just makes you feel like you're doing something with your life. But in reality, you're going to be dying a lonely death. But that's not the point. The point is that this game is wonderful. Now, to dive deeper into the aspects of this game, I want to start with the music, because I am a music guy. The music is great, and I mean that from a composition standpoint. Most tracks tend to be minimalistically quirky, if that makes any sense. They're not too complicated, but they're also not droning. And it really adds to the atmosphere of the game, which almost seems to set out to invoke a kind of sense of childlike joy, and personally I found it relaxing. I mean, you could change the soundtrack to death metal and it might become one of the funniest things in the world, but any other musical changes would just hurt this game. The soundtrack really sticks out that much. I'm no art student, so when it comes to describing the art style, I apologize if I don't describe it well. I have tremors in my hands, actually, so I can't even draw, so I don't even bother with art half the time. But again, I can't help but get this childlike vibe from the art style. There's a lot of bright colors and they're pleasing to the eye. The graphics are almost toy-like, somewhat blocky, yet not in a bad way. It's not so much to the point where it's like Minecraft. It's a very kind of prismy as well. I don't know. I like it. It's appealing and it holds up well. There are some PS2 games that I play. Now, I don't really care about graphics, to be honest with you, but if the game's fun, the game's fun. That's kind of my rule of thumb. But in terms of, like, I put Red Dead Revolver up on my PS2 on a kind of an HD TV, and it looks like looks like a pastel painting, or it looks like garbage. It looks smeared. It's terrible. I put Katamari Damacy. It looks like it's running on the GameCube. It looks decent, and the GameCube did have better specifications than the PS2, if you did not know that. It also kind of, I wasn't going to say this, but it does feel like it should be on the GameCube, to be honest. It feels like it should be on a GameCube platform. It just feels like kind of a GameCube-y game, you know what I mean? It's made by Namco. But it's not, and I kind of understand why, because the joysticks, the way that they're set out on the PlayStation, is probably better for the specific gameplay and mechanics. But the graphics, getting back to those, it just really adds to the aesthetic. As you progress through the levels, you're able to get bigger and bigger. I mean, you start with like paper clips and erasers, to the point where in the last few levels, you're able to roll up buildings and such, even land masses, which is cool since at the beginning of those levels, you start just picking up fruit and small items like that. You're no bigger than a cat. It really just adds to the feeling of progression I was talking about before. Like, you just get so big, but you get a little clunky sometimes when you get bigger too, and that was one of the problems I found with it sometimes. But that was also depending, I guess, how you kind of developed your Katamari, I suppose. It's a very creative game in general. There's a local co-op mode, which I appreciate, though I would argue that it's heavily based on luck. It's still a nice thing to have in the game, and it makes for a rambunctious party game. It's still enjoyable and somewhat competitive, even though there's probably no skill to it whatsoever. There's also a system of collectibles in the game, which give you something to go back and do if you want to replay the game. The only issues that I have are that it feels almost too short. I was left wanting more content. I think there's like, I don't remember how many constellations there are, but there were 10 stars and like 8, 9 constellations, so that's about 20 levels. It felt short. I don't know what to tell you. There are also some points in the game in certain maps where you could get stuck in between certain in-world items if you weren't big enough. You just had to be at this perfect certain size. But you could almost always get out of those if you fumbled with your controller enough and long enough. But you lose time, so that's not great. It's important to note that due to its simple controls, it can really appeal to all ages. There's no buttons that need to be memorized. It's just you're using both of the joysticks in tandem. This is something that I could show my 65-year-old father, and he could pick it up and be able to understand it and comprehend it right away and get playing in seconds. Same with younger children as well. So I think that really appeals to its audience. A couple of additional comments I have. For one, I apologize for the but this is kind of a test run, so give me a break. But this did it fucking again. This seems like a perfect game for a mobile iteration, in my opinion. I don't know. I feel like it already has one, to be honest. I swear to God, I saw that, but I might be confusing that with something else. So I mean, if it's there, tell me how it is, because I might pick it up. But it just seems like a concept that would work really well on a mobile device with the thumb movements. Now, hold on. There you go. Just my opinion, though, on that. I find the hub world to be charming. Same goes for the hub world music. It's just kind of nice and friendly. Now, considering that this is my first serious review, let me explain how I'm going to be rating things. I don't want to give numerical reviews. I don't want to give grades. I don't want to give anything like that. I really want it to go kind of just be down to, hey, is this game worth picking up? Is this worth my time? Or is there something I could be spending better? Is there a game that I could be playing that would be better worth my time? And I would have to kind of rate this one and put this in the category of essential to any PlayStation 2 collection that anybody's making, whether it's large or small or just starting out or you just do it casually. It is a great title. It is one of the stick-out titles of that system. I love it. I've had a great time with it. Again, just wish it was a little bit longer, but other than that, I mean, I have no gripes about this game. It's silly, it's funny. The opening screen is just extravagant immediately. It's wonderful. I really do love this game, and I would suggest picking it up because it goes for like $10 to $12 on eBay. There's really you got no reason to pick it up. Well, no reason not to pick it up. Just make sure, though, that you can maybe, try that co-op mode with a friend once, and then just don't tell them how to play the game. It's pretty fucking funny. But don't be a dick. Don't do that. But yeah, I really recommend this game. I think it's essential to any kind of collection that you have. And seriously, check it out if you haven't already. But it's been out for a while, so I don't know. So I'm signing off. I guess I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna say there. Peace.